Good morning. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 24th, 2025 meeting of the Zionsville Redevelopment Commission. Seeing we have a quorum, we'll start with the agenda. Go to the consent agenda items. We have the monthly report, TIF area memorandum, approval and adoption of meeting minutes from the May 27th, 2025 meeting, and then claims for approval. So all stuff we typically see here. Any questions on any of these?
The monthly report. Justin, do you have any timeline on like some of these cool projects going on in the village? Gables Bagels, what is Angelo's?
I do not necessarily. Do you have anything specific, Zach, on Gables?
Gables Bagels is moving forward. They're getting their building permits. They will be moving into, what was in that structure?
Lawn G, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're moving into that structure right now and renovating it.
Okay. Do you know completion at all?
They just got their building permits recently, so they have about 12 months to complete the project with a 6-month extension time frame available to them. So probably sometime in mid-2026, I would assume. Depending on the scale of renovations, they could be done much sooner. And it's all internal, so they'll probably be able to work through the winter.
What about the Italian market?
I'm not familiar with that. If you want, I can look into it and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
I believe it's going to be in the, is it Foley and Lardner, the old legal office on the back side of, on First Street, on the First Street side. I believe maybe on the back side of Francis and Park or somewhere along that side there.
Okay. Yeah, it says 95 South Main Street.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, director's report.
The one thing I wanted to update on at this meeting that I spoke about briefly at the last meeting was a hotel feasibility study. We've received proposals from numerous vendors and are putting together a RFP review committee, of which President Kittner will sit on. We will be reviewing those proposals and also scoring those and doing some Zoom or Teams type interviews, and then hope to have a selected vendor in time for the next July 22nd meeting of the RDC to approve funds, and then be able to start that study at the latter part of July to have a completed study by the middle part of September.
If I could ask, what exactly will the study do?
It's a great question. So it'll do a couple of different things. It'll look at Zionsville from a feasibility perspective in terms of what are the current supply, which I can answer that question is 8 hotel rooms in Zionsville, and then what are the various drivers of demand and what is the supply in nearby areas. So understanding, what types of people are coming for hotels, what types of amenities might they be looking for, so what types of hotels could be supported in Zionsville, what types of locations those hotels could be in, and then look at some various specific sites in terms of what the construction costs will be, what the operational costs will be, what the revenue will look like, and then help identify perhaps some gaps in the operational costs, the construction costs, and then if there's opportunities for the town to participate in any type of public-private partnership to help support the construction of hotels. So it's really 3 phases. It's understanding the supply and demand, it's understanding what types of opportunities there might be to construct hotels, and then looking very specifically at the financial projections for specific hotels, and then what it would look like for potential incentive or public-private partnership to help realize those hotels.
And a study like that takes 60,
6
90?
to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks, okay. Maybe you said that, I apologize.
Nope.
Anything?
That's it.
All right. What about old business? Anybody have anything? All right. New business. Creekside Corporate Park. We have the land transfer resolution for exclusive auto sports, lots 7 and 8. Any discussion on that?
No, this is just to allow for transfer and sale of the property. We have a representative here from the company if you have any questions, but we're excited to move forward. We've worked with the Creekside Corporate Park Architecture Review Committee. We're really excited to welcome them to Zionsville, and this is to approve the process to sale and transfer of lots 7 and 8.
Commission members, any questions or any comments? All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the resolution for exclusive auto sports for lots 7 and 8.
Second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of approving the land transfer to exclusive auto sports signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on, still with exclusive auto sports. This is a deposit resolution for lots 7 and 8.
Again,
Same thing?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next is the Creekside Corporate Park letters of interest.
Yes, so we have received a letter of interest for Lot 3 in Creekside Corporate Park, and this would be for a multi-tenant 20 to 25,000 square foot building. The developer has identified a couple of different potential uses in the medical and office space, and is looking forward to signing this letter of intent, which essentially is a non-binding document that gives them about 90 days to do due diligence, and then paves the way for, if both parties are in agreement, a development agreement to move towards purchase and sale of the property. And I think today there has been some good negotiation on that letter of intent to date, but there's a couple of minor issues that I think we can come to agreement on in relatively short order. So what I would propose today, if it's amenable to the commission, is to appoint a person to negotiate on behalf of the commission, and then be able to sign, give the president approval to sign once all issues have been agreed to, and that allows us to keep the process moving, because like I said, I think in the next week or two we can come to agreement on that, as opposed to waiting a month for the next meeting to approve the LOI.
I'll nominate our president.
I'll second that nomination.
Anybody else want to nominate anyone? Do we have to approve that, or can I just say?
I think we should do that by a voice vote, yes, please.
All those in favor of the president negotiating the letter of intent with a potential developer in Creekside Corporate Park signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Is that
Just
all we
for
have
the-
to do for that, or?
Yes, so just for the record, we will be posting a copy of the LOI to our website as well. And then I think at our next meeting, assuming we can come to agreement, I believe at our next meeting, the developer will be able to come with some more developed or finite ideas of what the structure might be at a very high level, and the types of uses as well.
All right, moving on to other business. We have documents for the Holiday Farms final disbursement packet. Are these two separate ones?
These are two separate ones, yes.
Yeah. Do we need to treat them?
I think we should treat them separately, and then I also think, and we can, Mr. Oberlander here can advise me on how best to do this, but we see these relatively regularly.
Yep.
And I think we wanted to try to find a little bit more of a streamlined manner in which perhaps the president could approve these, as opposed to it coming before a voice vote at a meeting. I don't know if you want to speak to that, John.
Yeah, I think that's something that we could possibly look at amending the rules of procedure, or, to have a resolution delegating that authority to the president for future disbursements.
I would like it, not because I'm the president. It just seems like if we've already approved a deal on a certain structure,
It's more administrative.
then when things are happening in accordance with that, it shouldn't
Right.
always need to come before us, so.
I'm thinking for today, maybe we do two voice votes on Holiday Farms, this is the Century project on the east side of 421, and then Holiday Farms, obviously the development on the west side of 421. And then at our July 22nd meeting, we can bring you a resolution for approval that would give you authority to sign these without necessarily being voted on at a public meeting.
All right, let's start with the Holiday Farms written request for final disbursement. Any questions or discussion? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move that we approve the written request for final disbursement for the First Holiday Farms.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Holiday Farm Senior Living TIF written request for funding for June 2025. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next, Finance Committee. Anything to report?
Nothing to report. We just had standard claims this month from our contracts.
Okay. Governance Committee?
We have nothing to report. We met last month, nothing to report.
Lastly, Zionsville CDC Committee.
We did convene. I participated remotely. Nothing to move forward to the committee, but just a couple updates, and maybe I could use a little help here, Justin.
Yes.
There was a business engagement strategy that was discussed. You want to talk about the multiple layers of people and organizations that may be reaching out?
Yeah, we talked about, I think in concert between the town, the Community Development Corporation, and also Boone County Economic Development Corporation, looking at ways that we can really engage existing businesses to understand their needs, understand any type of bumps along the road, understand expansion plans, and how the town can help them find opportunities to grow here in Zionsville. So really building out a business retention and expansion strategy. And again, looking at how Boone County EDC could perhaps focus on some of the larger businesses with participation from the town, and then the Community Development Corporation, again, with participation from the town, focusing on some of the small and medium-sized businesses, and whether that's, a combination of survey-type tool, in-person meetings, and then potentially even some, networking type events where we can understand, again, what the needs are of businesses, people who are wanting to start new businesses here in Zionsville, people who perhaps wanted to start a business here in Zionsville and ended up going to a different municipality for some reason or another. So really identifying red tape and other things like that as it relates to both starting and running small and medium-sized businesses here in Zionsville.
We also discussed the purpose of some of the grants and the development of a tool that could be instructive but not controlling and evaluating ROI. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so the CDC has traditionally given some grants, again, to small and medium-sized businesses as it relates to build-out, is really how it's been defined most recently. There was some grants, some smaller grants that were given during the COVID-19 pandemic, but again, more recently it's been for infrastructure-type build-out for businesses. And I think we really want to make sure that there is return on investment when we're making those types of grants. So we've been working on building a return on investment tool to objectively analyze these types of grant requests going into the future. And again, these are businesses that exist in TIFs, and so we will use TIF funds to invest in physical infrastructure for businesses to help them either start or grow. But again, we want to do that in an objective fashion. So we're putting together an ROI tool to analyze future grant requests.
Quick question. The CDC, they oversee the landscaping and maintenance of Creekside, correct?
That is also true, yes.
Okay.
So they serve as the property owner association for the time being, and so oversee landscaping contracts and that sort of thing, and collect dues from tenants or owners in the park.
I'll talk to you offline about that.
Nothing further to report from the committee?
Great. Anything else any commissioners would like to discuss before we adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.